So, namaste and good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining on time. So, this particular series, what we have, Dr. CSR Prabhu, ex-director in National Informatics Center, and he's an IIT Bombay alumnus. So, we have started this series where Prabhu sir speaks more about how our Vedas, Vedangas, the Yoga Darshanas and all, how they are still relevant to our lifestyle in this current age also, and a connection between them, and how we can excel in our lives, knowing the utmost truth of life. So in this aspect, we had 13 different series where we looked at various yoga darshanas and many Upanishads also. And currently this series, what we have is more on the Ashtavakra, Samhita. It's the topmost of the Advaita text. So thank you all. And, I think people are joining in, but, we can get started. Over to you, Prabhu sir.
Friends, the ultimate objective of life is self-realization and therefore the freedom of moksha, which is associated with self-realization. As per the traditions of Sanatana Dharma and even Buddhism, Jainism, and even in other religions, what they call in different words as moksha, nirvana, emancipation, liberation, freedom. So today we will delve into the Ashtavakra Samhita, which is an accredited classic text of monistic Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta. It leaves no loophole for the misconception or misinterpretation of the fundamental standpoint or attitude. It would have been a matter of great satisfaction had we been in possession of similar works for other schools of philosophy, like Dvaita, Visishtadvaita, or Traita, or Dvaita, Advaita, or Siddhadvaita. All these 25 odd different philosophical systems do not carry a text like Ashtavakra Samhita, which is very powerful, direct experience, declaration, and the conversation between Ashtavakra and Janaka. Janaka was the king of Mithila, the father of Sita, present day in Bihar, part of Bihar. And Ashtavakra was a scholar of Brahmin origin who could deliver the promised result of self-realization and moksha to Ashtavakra within a short time or almost instantly. That was the requirement which Janaka wanted, instant realization. So the present work makes us understand what monistic Vedanta stands for. The monistic or Advaitic Vedanta standpoints are, please mute your mics, are categorical, positive, direct, and unambiguous. So it's an ancient classic which is far before Adi Shankaracharya and this Guru Parampara, Gaudapada and Gaudapada Karika of Mandukya Upanishad. So the ancient the most ancient date of Ashtavakra Samhita, the most ancient dates of Ashtavakra Samhita eliminate all theories of Buddhist connections or origin of Advaita from Shankaracharya or Gaudapada onwards. Because this text is far more older than Shankaracharya or Gaudapada, and therefore this text, which upholds an experiential position of Advaita, is a proof that Advaita is independent totally of the subsequent developments of philosophical systems like Buddhist or Jain or Dvaita, Visishtadvaita. Because some people try to mischievously point out with great effort that the Advaita Vedanta of Gaudapada and then Shankaracharya is copied from Buddhist sources. Such statements have no standing, and this is a proof of that fact. The Upanishad text and the Bhagavad Gita have been twisted and turned by the commentators to suit their philosophical leanings and presuppositions, because the essence of these texts are not unamenable to the exercise of exegetic ingenuity of scholarship and hair-splitting arguments and theories gave way to philosophical systems like Visishtadvaita of Ramanuja or Dvaita of Madhva and many other Shuddhadvaita, Dvaita, Dvaita, and so on. But the present book, Ashtavakra Samhita, stands out as a class apart. Whether you agree or not, whether you are not left in any suspense or doubt as to what it means, it gives a candid and unhesitating, unblushing, and unapologetic presentation of the cardinal principles of Vedanta, of Advaita, without consideration for and concession to our realistic predispositions. Realism or even surrealism and materialism are totally dismissed in this text. No wonder that is a Warrior Museum of the monks of Shankara orders, the monks of Shankar Mats or Ramakrishna missions. For them, this book, Ashtavakra Samhita, is the ultimate textbook. And unfortunately, it has not been very popular with the householders because it refuses to cater to their instincts or to make allowances for the exigencies of social or political circumstances. The householders are preoccupied with materialistic, social, political considerations. So this book has no place for such considerations. So now, the present work, the Ashtavakra Samhita, is not a philosophical treatise in the technical sense of the term. It does not care to call in aid the intellectual resources which are the only stock in trade for all philosophical dissertations. We find it, on the contrary, an unfoldment to the ultimate truth, which is the final objective of philosophy, but which forever eludes its grasp. What is the objective finally? Ultimate truth is the final objective, and usually we are deluded, we are eluded away from the ultimate truth, but not so in the case of Ashtavakra Samhita. Philosophy and even Vedanta qua philosophy can only produce an intellectual conviction which falls short of the direct realization of the truth with T capital. So intellectual dissertations of texts will not necessarily produce a realization or self-realization of the truth. For direct realization, the spiritual aspirant must undergo a course of sadhana under the guidance and supervision of a guru who himself has gone through and grind and envisage the truth face to face. This is what is the most difficult and rarest of the rare opportunities, because such gurus are rare and such sadhana is even rare. Monistic Vedanta has uniformly discarded the world of sense and intellect and all that revolves around the conception of dualism as an ambiguous, unmitigated illusion. Jagan Mithya, Brahma Satyam Jivo Brahmaiva Napara. For this at rationalization of the world appearance together with the fundamental datum of logical thought, namely the ego, are bound to end in cul-de-sac and a confession of failure. Now, the real world which you see is assumed to be real. It is not exactly real. It appears to be real to different people at different times in different ways. To the same person in different ways at different times. Just like a dream, just like a movie. How much is the truth in a movie or a dream? There is not much, is hardly any truth. There is no truth, in fact. but it appears to be true at the time of its own experience. The failure of logic is not due to the limitations of human intellect, but to an intrinsic defect which vitiates the very nature of the objectivity. This is the burden of the Upanishads and the entire Vedantic philosophical literature from the earliest writings of Gaudapada and Shankaracharya down to the latest among the Advaitic stalwarts, occupied with the task of probing the unreality of the objective world by appeal to logic authority. So usually all these scholars and great personalities, they appeal to the, please mute your mics. They appeal to the unreality of the real world through logic and through intellectual analysis. But it's not so in the Ashtavakra Samhita. Ashtavakra Samhita directly reflects on experience. Will you please mute your mics? Vedanta philosophy admits a threefold criterion of truth, authority, that is Shruti. So we have basically Shruti, which is the Veda or Upanishad, and logic or Yukti, and self-realization, which is Atma Anubhuti. So Aparoksha Anubhuti, there's a book by Adi Shankaracharya, direct experience of the self as capital, the only one self. Each is the ultimate litmus test, ultimate proof of the statements and promises or the declarations of the Shruti on one side and the application of logic on the other side. Now, this is a very interesting question. How come that Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta is logical, yet it transcends the real world? Because it is logical. Logic will take you to only to some extent, not to all the way to the end. Because the ultimate truth cannot be grasped just by logic, and blind faith is repugnant to the spirit of logic, logical thinking, rationality. So rationality, the approach of Vedanta is seen to be rational in the sense that it is not in conflict with the demands of reason. No place for blind belief. Most of the religions and people who follow those religions have no place for reason. They blindly believe in certain tenets and carry on with their life happily. But those who are really logical and rational will, based on demand, the propositions of various religions, various theories fall apart because there is no proof for the existence of many of the personalities of many other religions, and there is no proof for many of the beliefs or many of the belief systems given in various religions. But it's not so in the case of Vedanta. Reason is a helpful guide to a certain limit, but it is rather after that all a negative instrument, and its findings are bound to be negative in character. Quite often, people use this tenet of reason being inadequate to take over blind belief on the miraculous behaviors are not verifiable, they may or may not be real, but they will be believed upon, and therefore that personality, whosoever it is, I don't want to give names, you know what I mean, all those personalities who have supposed to have delivered those miracles will be started getting worshipped as God. So this is a kind of blind belief of the religion in which we live, which the rationalists will never agree, but surprisingly, and maybe to some of you not surprisingly, the Vedanta is rational, but it goes beyond rationality too. Because truth is an incompetent and inadequate, that is to help and discard and negate what is untruth. But for the realization of the positive truth, it is incompetent and inadequate. Logic is incompetent and inadequate to reach the truth, though it may be useful in negating the untruth. So philosophy, which absolutely relies upon reason as the only dependable organon, has not been successful in its positive findings, for these have remained debatable points and have failed to command universal acceptance. The superiority of Vedanta lies in the fact that while it fully utilizes the resources of reason, it is at the same time corrects and supplements the results attained by that means by a supra-intellectual organon, which does not contradict the findings of reason, but supplements them by its positive discoveries. So there is something beyond reason. that is intuition. The discoveries of the supra-rational intuition satisfies test is that the transcendental intuition, which is taken as the fundamental requirement of self-realization, is not going to be in contradiction with reason or with logic. That is the beauty of Advaita Vedanta, and Ashtavakra Samhita is the ultimate text of Advaita Vedanta. The tremendous hold of Vedanta upon the intellectuals of India is due, and not even India, and all over the world, is due to the secret of the reconciliation of the reason with supra-rational intuition. Undisciplined reason has its idiosyncrasies which lead to clash and conflict. We can see in the world, all the greatest scientific civilizations of America and Russia, they are in constant conflict with all their reasoning and with all their logical, rational behavior. And so it stands in need for being checked by a corrective, and this is supplied by the supra-rational power of the intuition in man. So this recognition of the inadequacy of unaided reason must not be interpreted as advocating the anti-intellectual and anti-rational approaches or blind beliefs. Vedanta is thoroughly rational, and where reason comes to a standstill, it goes beyond the light afforded by the supra-rational organon. The falsity of everything that presents itself as an other to the consciousness is the conclusion which is deduced by the application is occupied in this task. So the fundamental proposition forms the starting of the inquiry of the Ashtavakra Samhita and is not the conclusion aim. The aim is realization of the truth and not a rational defense of it. The self alone is real and all non-self is appearance. Now we are talking the consciousness on one side, and that the world is an illusion. It is not truth. The consciousness alone is the truth. That is the self. I. The sense of I or I-ness alone is the truth. The disappearance of the ignorance automatically entails the disappearance of the non-self, which is in its product. So the ignorance is the root cause of the non-self. The existence of an other, in the case of all our worry and unhappiness. So the acceptance of the reality of the so-called real world, which is actually unreal. In fact, it's like saying real estate. What is real estate and what is Great Britain and what is real world? It's all hoax. It's a world and this is estate and that is Britain. So the so-called world, the validity or the truth of the world is the root cause or the acceptance of the validity as the ultimate truth of the outside world, the life in which we live, is the root cause of all our problems. So if you examine carefully, we face tremendous problems with conflicts between individuals, between groups, between organizations, between countries, and within oneself also. So all these are originating from the fundamental premise that the so-called real world is actually real. But the fact remains it is not real. So that realization on how the real world is not real is what is achieved in the Ashtavakra Samhita, where the question of Janaka is how to freedom in the achieved. He starts, I will explain you the slokas also, and we may continue this in some 1 or 2 more sessions also. So the first question that arises is asking how to get moksha, how to get freedom. We all know that, we have 4 purusharthas: dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Now, the artha and kama, the second and third, are dealt all through the life in all subjects, in all institutions, in all organizations. Money and its utilization for enjoyments of desires. So I don't have to talk about it. So we have to talk only about the dharma and moksha. So if artha and kama are based on dharma, then they will be conducive to reach moksha. Otherwise, they'll go against moksha and they'll go against the dharma itself, the balance of society itself. So that's why we have talked a lot about dharma. Everybody talks about Sanatana Dharma. We have delivered courses. I mean, right from Prime Minister, the Chief of RSS, everyone spoke of dharma, but nobody talks of moksha, which is final. So the moksha is the goal of this text, Ashtavakra Samhita, and that is how I will start now. Till now I just brought out a few bullets from the introductory remarks made by Satkari Mukherjee in 1940 when this book was published by Ramakrishna Math. This book is available in the Ramakrishna Math bookshop. You can get it. This is Ashtavakra Samhita. You read it. If you can understand it, you are lucky. You can achieve self-realization. Now, I'll start with the actual text. Janaka Uvacha. Janaka said this. Katham jnanam avapnoti, katham muktir bhavishyati, vairagyam cha katham praptam, etad bruhi mama prabho. He's asking Ashtavakra, oh Lord, how will I get jnana? How will I get moksha or mukti? How will I get vairagya or detachment? And please tell me, how will all these things come to me? In fact, there is a story, I don't know how far it is true or false, that King Janaka made an announcement that anybody who can give him self-realization, jnana and moksha within 2 seconds, instantaneously, like, he'll keep one leg on one side of the horse, and from that point of time to the time he keeps the second leg, that gap it will be hardly for 2 seconds. Within that time, that means instantly, if somebody can make him self-realization achieved and therefore moksha achieved, then he'll accept him as his guru. And if somebody claims that he will do it and he fails to do it, he'll be put in jail. And that jail too was underground, underwater. So many hundreds of scholars like you and me went and failed, and they were all put in the jail underwater, and even Ashtavakra's father was put there. Ashtavakra, the word name itself says he has 8 crooked bendings in his body, which was because of the curse of his father when this guy was in the womb of his mother. He was so knowledgeable and intelligent that from the womb, he was making error corrections of the chantings of the Veda of his father, who is outside. So his father got irritated and cursed him. You shall be born with 8 bends. That's how he was born with Ashtavakra. But he was far superior, not only to his father, but the entire community of scholars at that time. And he came to tell Janaka to accept that challenge. And before he accepted that challenge, he started telling what it is, the conversation here now. So first Janaka asked, how will I get jnana? Because we all know for moksha jnana is compulsory. Katham jnanam avapnoti, katham muktir bhavishyati. How will jnana be achieved? How will mukti be, moksha be achieved? And how will vairagya be achieved? Please tell me. So the answer is direct. Ashtavakra uvacha mukti michhasi chetata vishayan vishavatyaja. Mukti michhasi chetata vishayan vishavatyaja. Shamarjavadaya tosha piyusha vadbhaja. Shamarjavadaya tosha satyam piyusha vadbhaja. Oh father, tata means father, is addressing King Janaka addressed Ashtavakra as Prabhu, and Janaka is addressing, Ashtavakra is addressing Janaka as Tata, that is, oh father, Mukti Michhasi Cheta. He was the father of Sita, but still out of respect, oh father, is addressing him, must be because of the age. If you really want Mukti, then Vishayan Vishavatyaja, give up all desires, give up all pursuits of sensory objects. Vishayas means the objects of senses and mind, which are the objects of desires. They give them up like poison. Give all the enjoyments up away as poison. And what should you imbibe? Kshama, Arjava. Kshama means forgiveness, tolerance, broad-mindedness, broad-heartedness. Arjava is integrity, honesty. Daya, compassion. Tosha, santosha, satisfaction, happiness, and satyam, truth. You shall imbibe these qualities. What are those? Kshama, Arjava, Daya, Tosha, Satyam. 5. Piyushavad Bhaja. Imbibe them as nectar, Amrutam. and give up all desires as poison. All objects, all sensory objects desires. Now, please listen. This is the most important statement he's making. Na prithvi, na jalam, na agnir, na vayu, yaur, na va bhavan. Bhavan, you are yourself, are not the earth, not the air, not the water, not the fire, and not the space. These are the Panchabhutas. The Panchabhutas are nothing but the sensory stimulus coming out of the five senses: eyes, nose, ears, tongue, and skin. So whatever sensations are coming out of these five senses are being shown as Panchabhutas in Sankhya and Dravyas in Vaisheshika. Obviously, I am not just mud, that is Prithvi, and I am not air, I am not the Akasha, space, I am not Vayu, I am not any one of them. Who am I? Because I am able to watch them, I am able to see them. Esham Sakshinam, you are the witness of all these five. Atmanam Chidrupam Vidhi Muktaye. Realize yourself to be the pure consciousness, which is observer, seer, thinker, feeler, enjoyer of these five elements and their products. So the entire universe, all the objects in the universe are products of these five elements. That's why it is called Prapancham. Prapancham means made of five. So there is nothing which is not made of these five, and you are not any one of those five. Obviously, we all know we are not air, or we are not space, or we are not earth, or we are not fire or energy, but we are the observer of all this. That is the material universe. I am not the material universe. I am observing the material universe. As you know, there is a Triputi. I exist first. Then I see the universe, which is Prapancham, made of five elements, which I am not. When I am observing something, obviously I am different, and what I observe is different. And then, can you hear me? And then you see the.
So Prabhu sir, sorry to disturb. There seems to be low bandwidth on your side. Are the others able to?
I think it will gradually improve. I can come closer.
Yeah, please come little closer because the voice is less. To others, are you all able to hear properly?
Yeah. It is clear as usual. Yeah, for us, I thought it felt it is very clear. I don't find any.
Yeah, no, because the audio, everything is there. The video is little breaking up, but there's no disturbance as such. But just wanted to inform Prabhu sir, like if you can.
Okay, I become close. I became
close.
Okay. Okay. So Ashtavakra is telling Janaka, you are not what you observe, because you know there are three things: I myself and the universe which I observe, and third is the creator, if at all there is a creator of this universe. So all theories, all philosophies are circling around these three. In science, there is no creator, only two are there, and not even I also don't think only the universe exists. In quantum physics, in modern science, the consciousness also exists and the universe exists, only two are there. And in Vedanta, all is together one only. So because all this merge into one, how it is, we will now observe. So first Ashtavakra told Janaka, oh Janaka, you are obviously not any one of these five, the elements. The universe which is made up of these five, you are not any one of them. Now what does this mean? This is a very profound statement. If I know that I cannot be just earth or water or air or something, and therefore I cannot be any product made up of those five. So the entire universe is only having products made of those five and nothing else. Even this body which you see is a product of those five elements. So I cannot be the body. Please realize this. It's impossible that I be the body. If I am the body, then I can also be a cot, or I can also be a wall, I can also be a car or anything, which I am not. Because I am able to see all of them, I am able to see the body also, I am able to observe. Whatever I observe, I cannot be that because I am able to observe. I am the observer, I am not the observed. I am not drishya, but I am drashta. So the moment you realize that I am drashta, esham sakshinam atmanam vidhi muktaye. The moment you realize you are only the witness, you are only the observer, you are not any one of those. You are liberated on this spot. So that is what is instant realization. So the moment you realize that you are not one of the five, or the combinations of the five, or the products of the five, the prapancham, then who are you? You exist. You cannot say I don't exist. Is there anybody who can say I don't exist? You exist, and you are aware. That is Sat and Chit. And you can be in place, Satchidananda. Your nature is Satchidananda, and what you see outside yourself is not you. That means the body is not you, the designation is not you, address is not you, your house is not you, your car is not you, your relationships is not you, your building, your city, your country, your entire universe is not you. You are only the observer. Obviously, it's a common sense. So, Esham Sakshinam Atmanam Vidhi Muktaye. The moment you realize that on this spot you are liberated. Yadi Deham Pratakritya Chiti Visramya Tishtati Adhunaiva Sukhi Shanto Bandhamukto Bhavishyasi. Adhuna, right now, at this very instance, instantly you will be liberated if you can separate yourself from the body and be established in yourself, which is pure consciousness. Yadi deham prathakritya chiti vishramya tishtati. Chiti, in chit, you are vishramya, take rest, be established in chit. That's what happens in deep sleep. That's what happens in deep meditation. In all other times, you are entangled with the sensory observations and thoughts and mind. And therefore, you are lost from your original nature. You are assuming you are one of them. That's what Patanjali also told. Vritti sarupyamitaratra. All other times you are identifying falsely with the objects of your observation. And only in this sthiti of yoga, yoga's chitta vritti nirodha tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. That's what he's saying. Yadi deham prithakritya. If you can get separated from your body, and chitti vishramya, if you can be established in your chit consciousness, pure consciousness, adhunaiva, that very second, the right now, you will be liberated. Sukhi Shanto Bandha Mukto Bhavishyasi. Yadi Deham Prathakritya Chiti Visramya Tishtati Adhuna Eva Sukhi Shanto. Because you will be free, you will be happy, you will be peaceful. Bandha Mukto Bhavi. You will be in freedom. It's as simple as that. That's how the instant moksha which Janaka wanted was actually delivered. Natvam vipradiko varninashrami gocharaha asangosi nirakaro vishwasakshi sukhi bhava. You are not any one of these designations, roles, responsibilities. You had so many roles, you had so many posts. I was Director General of NIC, but today I am not. Somebody else is there. So you had so many roles and you had so many identities. Aadhaar number, am I Aadhaar number? Or am I election number? Who am I? I'm not any one of these. Natvam vipradiko varni. You are not any one of the caste identities or community identities or role identities or relationship identities. Nakshami nakshagocharaha. You are not even visible to the eyes, because the self I is not obviously visible. You know that we exist, but we are not visible. Asangosi, and it is not getting entangled at all. The self cannot be entangled. Asangosi nirakaro, formless, vishwasakshi, but you exist and you are observer. You are the observer of the universe. Vishwasakshi, sukhi bhava. Therefore, be happy. Next, he is saying, dharma dharmao sukham dukkham manasani nate vibho na kartasi na bhoktasi mukta evasi sarvada. O Lord, Ashtavakra is addressing Janaka as, O Lord, you are not liable in your true nature to your responsibilities or renunciations or dharma, good and bad, sukha dukha, because all these are manasani, they are mental experiences. The sense of happiness, the sense of pleasure, the sense of misery, the sense of responsibility, the sense of irresponsibility, all these are manasani, they are mental activities. Nate vibho, not yours. Na kartasi na bhoktasi, you are neither doer nor the enjoyer. Because once I do something, I have to enjoy its fruits, good or bad. The moment I realize I'm not the doer, I'm not the enjoyer, therefore, Mukta Evasi, you are already always liberated. Sarvada. Eko Drashtasi Sarvatsya. You are the observer of everything. Mukta Prayosi Sarvada. You are ever liberated. Ayameva hite bandha drashtaram pasyasi taram. Okay, in that case, what is bandha then? What is the bondage? This itself is your bondage, that you are looking at yourself as something other than yourself. Drashtaram pasyasi itaram. Drashta, you are the drashta. Tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. Patanjali made clear, you are drashta, you are the observer, and you are not accepting that. On the contrary, you are assuming some other objective reality on that drashta. Ayameva hite bandhaha drashtaram pasyasi itaram. You are seeing yourself as something other than the observer. That means your name, your designation, your address, your Aadhaar number, all these which are not you, you are assuming you are that. So once you are assuming you are something which you are not, then you get into all kinds of problems, all kinds of ownerships, all kinds of encumbrances, all kinds of burdens, and you will be suffering misery like anybody's. Aham kartetyaham sammanamaha Krishna darshitaha naham karteti vishwasamritam pitva sukhi bhava. You are bitten by the snake of doership. I am the doer. Aham karta. You are being bitten by that snake, the poison of I am this, I am that, I have this, I have that, I don't have this, I don't have this, and he or she is different from me, and this is different from me. I want this, I don't want this, I want to throw it away, I want all this Maya, oh, which is created by your own self. By that is why there is a very famous statement, one song by Vivekananda. The rope which is tying you up and pulling you is actually held tight by you only. The moment you leave it, it will be gone. So how to leave it? To realize that you are not the doer and therefore you are not the enjoyer. Aham kartetyaham mana mahakrishna ahidarshitaha. You are bitten by the big snake of I am karta, I am the doer, I am the owner, I am the actor. Naham kartet vishwasamritam pitva sukhi bhava. So you drink the nectar amrutam of I am not the doer, I am not the owner, I am not the actor. If you are able to drink this attitude as nectar, then you'll be happy, you'll be free. You are freed from all encumbrances automatically, which are created by you. It is like a spider. Is a spider generates a big cobweb and it gets caught in the cobweb and it dies in the cobweb. Who created the cobweb? The spider itself created. All the problems which you are suffering in your life, who created them? You only create by yourself, by your own making, by your own doings. And you are suffering caught up in the same cobweb, and you may die in the same cobweb without realizing that you are the cause of all this. So if you can realize you are not all this, you don't have anything to do with it, on the spot you will be liberated. Eko vishuddha bodho hamiti nischayavahnina prajvalya ajnana gahanam vitashoka sukhi bhava. Eko vishuddha bodhoham. I am alone, because the important fact, as I mentioned in my introduction, this universe is unreal and whatever is real is only I. Eko vishuddha bodhoham. The pure self-consciousness awareness is the only truth. And that determination, that conviction, that position of strong conviction, prajvalya ajnana gahan, it's like a fire which will burn the forest of ignorance out of which all your miseries have originated. Yatra vishwamidam bhati kalpitam rajju sarpavat ananda paramanandaha sabodhastvam sukham chara. This whole universe, every individual is living in his own or her own cobweb of a so-called universe created by himself or herself. And to realize that it is an illusion. Kalpitam rajju sarpavat. In the darkness, there is a S-shaped object. So some people said it is a snake. And then some people brought a big stick to beat it, to kill it. And some people said, don't kill it. Some people said, no, we'll kill it. All kinds of things were happening because there is no light. The moment the light is put on, there is no snake, but is only the rope. So that is Rajju Sarpa Bhranti. And also the mirage, water in the mirage, or various other such comparisons are given in the Advaita Vedanta. So Yatra Vishwamidam Bhati Kalpitam Rajju Sarpavat. This whole universe is Kalpitam, is created, fabricated, is an imaginary universe, because the simple proof that every individual sees a different universe created by that same individual, by the same person's own thoughts, own belief systems, own assumptions, own assumed roles and responsibilities. Ananda Paramananda Sabodhastvam Sukhi. Who are you then? You are not this universe. You are Bodha, realization of Ananda Paramananda. Your true nature is Ananda. We have seen in the other context of, like, say, Taittiriya Upanishad. So what is ultimate truth? Ananda is ultimate truth. Satchid Ananda. You are that and not all this. Muktabhimani muktohi baddho baddhabhimanyapi. So a person who is liberated from ego, he himself is totally liberated. And a person who's tied up with ego, he is in bondage. Kim vadanti hem satyayam yamati. So whatever you think, that's what happens. If you think you are a big fool, then you will be a big fool. If you think you are self-realized soul, if you are pure consciousness, you are pure consciousness. Atma Sakshi. Atma means I, Nenu, Nan, myself, my. Sakshi, Vibhu, observer, Lord, Purnaha, total, complete, Ekaha, Muktaha, only one, Chid Akriyaha, is pure consciousness, non-doer, Asangaha, Nispruhaha, Shantaha, Brahmat Samsaravani. Only by delusion, you are thinking that you are a worldly person, who are a doer, actor, feeler, and then you are suffering so many problems, or you are achieving so many things, etc. The doership is an illusion. Kutastham bodham advaitam atmanam paribhavaya. Realize yourself to be neutral, non-dual, and realization. Abhasoham brahmam mukta bhavam bahyamadantaram. So give up the relationship with external world, give up your false identities and their relationships and their encumbrances and their assumptions and so on. Dehabhimana pashena chiram baddhosi putraka. Now he is calling him a son. O son, you are bound only with Dehabhimana pasha, with the rope of your false identification and great affection with your body, your false identification and feeling the affection with your own body. Bodhoham jnana kadgena sanyakritya sukhi. Take out a sword called realization, jnana, bodha, cut that rope off, and then you are free and you are happy. Nissango, nishkriyosi, you are unattached, you are non-doer, you are not doing anything. Tvam swaprakasho niranjanaha, you are self-illuminant. Niranjanaha, you are without any blemish. Ayameva hite bandha samadhi manutishthati. This itself is your bondage that you want to sit in meditation, and as distinguished from non-meditation, because the self is always the same. Whether you are in meditation, whether you are not in meditation, yourself remain the same. This is your own delusion that you think only in meditation I will get, otherwise I will be like this. All that is part of delusion and illusion. Tvaya vyaptamidam vishwam tvayi protam yadharthatah shuddha buddha swarupastvam magamak shudra chittata. This universe is a reflection in yourself. Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari tulyam nijantargatam pashyannatmani mayaya bahirivo dhutam yadanitraya. Just like in a dream, the universe which appears in a dream is appearing outside you, though it never existed. It is a projection from you to the outside, as if it is outside. So also in the waking state, samsara swapnatulyohi ragadveshadi sankulaha swakale satyavad bhati prabodhe asatya bhagavate. When you wake up from dream, you realize that what all that which you saw in the dream was a fake, it is not there. So also, when you wake up to the realization of your true nature of the self, then you realize that this waking state is also a dream. Nirapeksho, nirvikaro, nirbhara sitalasya, agadha buddhi rakshubdho bhava chinmat pravas. You become pure consciousness established in it. Nirapekshaha, unconditioned, nirvikaraha, immutable, nirbharaha, devoid of bulk form, sitalacheha, of cool disposition. It's cool, man, we say. That's very cool, like not perturbed, not disturbed with anything. Sthita prajna, he's talking of that state. Agadha buddhi, deep thought, unfathomable intelligence. Akshubdhaha, that is unperturbed. Bhava, become chinmatravasanaha, become being established only in pure consciousness. Sakaram anutam vidhi nirakarantu nischalam. Etat tattvopadeshana punarbhasam. Whatever has a form is a lie, is a falsehood. And whatever has no form but exists, that is the self, alone is truth. This realization, once it comes, will result in liberation. No birth after this. Yatheva adarsha madhyasthe rupe anta paritastu saha tatheva asmin sharire antaha paritaha parameshwara. Just as a mirror exists within and without the image reflected in it. There's a mirror, there's an image. Suppose there's an image of some city from the top of a mountain, you say whole city will be there. Where is that city? It is an image in the mirror. The mirror is inside the image and outside the image, everywhere. So also the Supreme Self exists inside and outside this body. Now it looks like talking of God, Ishvara, Paramatma. So actually the Paramatman or except Ishvara, etc. I mean like Brahman, etc. is nothing but the objectification of the self. The self is the actual truth. When you objectify it, because you are not able to understand as a subject, actually it is a subject. It is observer, feeler, thinker, enjoyer, pure consciousness, reference with which to it, from which everything happens, everything is known. You are not able to understand this. So they objectified, saying that there is something there and that is like this. It is no, nothing is outside, it is you. It is you, you are that. And your mind has to come to a knot to realize that Ekam sarvagatam vyoma bahirantaryadha ghate. Just as in a pot, the space akasha is inside and outside. Only one akasha. Nityam nirantaram brahma sarvabhuta gane tatha. Just like in a pot, the akasha is inside and outside. The Brahman is inside and outside of everything in this universe. And that Brahman, Ayam Atma Brahma. This statement, Mahavakya of the Upanishad says, this self itself is Brahman. So that's why it's Tattvamasi Aham Brahmasmi. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. So all pointing to the same thing. So the great message of the Mahavakyas of the Upanishads is delivered in the instruction of Ashtavakra to Janaka. And to sum it up all, there is a story continuing. So when he wanted in 2 seconds instant realization, Janakas wanted that, and Ashtavakra said, I want my fees first. All right, take your fees, whatever you want, you will get. Are you sure you will give me whatever I want? He said, yes. Then Ashtavakra started asking, give me your kingdom, give me your properties, give me your wealth, give me your elephants, horses, palaces, and ornaments, whatever you have, your wives, your kids, your grandkids, your everything. So he gave legally everything to Ashtavakra. And finally, he asked, what else you still have with you? He said, I only have my body and the clothes. That also, you give it to me. So he gave in writing with the legal notification that his body and his mind. What else you have? I have my mind. I have the senses. I have the ego. I have the intellect. You give all that away to me. So having given up all that, and finally he says, is there anything still with you? There's nothing. Then Ashtavakra asked, who are you now? After having given up the connection with everything, are you still there or not? Janaka says, yes, I am there and I am the self. And that is how we got the self-realization. Therefore, chapter 2, the joy of self-realization, Janaka exclaims, Aho Niranjana Shanto. Oh, I am so peaceful. I am so blemishless, spotless. Bodhoham. I am realization itself. Prakrute Paraha. Transcendent to the nature and universe. Etavantamaham kalam mohe naiva vidambitaha. All these days I have been deluded by moha, delusion. I have been cheated by maya, by moha. Now I realized. So Janaka acknowledged his achievement of self-realization upon hearing the instruction delivered by Ashtavakra till now, and having exclaimed his beauty of self, joy of self-realization. Yadha prakashayam eko dehamenam tatha jagat ato mama jagat sarvam athava na chakinchana. This whole universe is created and reflected from me only. In the famous Dakshinamurti Stotram, there is a very important statement which says that Nana Chidrakatodara Sthita Mahadeepa Prabhavaswaram Jnanam Yasya tu Chakshuradikarana Dwara Bahispandati. First, I am there, which is pure consciousness, which has the ability to know, and that capability to know is coming out through the holes, the 9 holes of eyes, nose, ears, and mouth and skin. And through that, the knowledge of the universe is being observed. If that light is not there, nothing is there. So, in the same way, as Janaka is exclaiming, Ato mama jagat sarvam athava na chakinchana. The whole universe is from me, out of me, it is mine. Otherwise, nothing is there. If I go into a deep sleep or samadhi, then there is nothing. So that is why there's a beautiful statement which Adi Shankara told about Shiva. Oh Shiva, I am you, Atmatvam, Girija Matihi, and my mind is Girija, that is Parvati. Sahachara Prana, these Pancha Pranas which I have are the Ganas, Pramasa Ganas which are there with you. Shariram Gruham, this body is my house. Pujate Vishayopabhogaramata. What all things I see or hear or smell is all puja. Stotrani Sarvagiro, whatever I speak is Stotra. And whatever I walk is Pradakshinam. Yajjat karma karvadi tattadahilam sambho tavara. Whatever I do is puja to you. This has 2 meanings, one in Dvaita and Bhakti, other in Advaita. That is, I am Shiva. Shivoham. This is what Janaka has realized. Sashariramaho Vishwam Parityajamaya Adhuna Kutaschit Kaushaladeva Paramatma Virokyate. Having renounced this universe, together with this body, I now perceive the Supreme Self through the secret of wisdom. So renunciation is the secret. Having renounced this whole universe, including this body, now I perceive the Supreme Self through the secret of wisdom. Yathana toyato bimba bhinnana taranga phena budbuda atmano na tadha bhinna vishwam atma vinirvita. So now you have the ocean, you have the bubbles, you have the waves, you have the froth. Is it all different from ocean or is it same? So it cannot be different because it's a part of the ocean. The ocean is not there. There are no waves, there are no bubbles, there is no froth. So in the same way, this whole universe is my own creation, is my own self-projection, is my own projection. Vishwam Atma Vinirgatam. So the universe is emanating from me and it is not different from me. Tantumatro bhave deva pato yadvad vicharita atma tanmatram nevedam tadvad vishwam vicharita. So from me, this whole universe is woven like a fabric is woven from the threads. Yatheva ekshurase klupta tena lapteva sharkara. In a sugarcane juice, where is sugar? Can anybody show me? It is spread all over. In the same way, Tatha Vishwam Mayakluptam Mayavyaptam Nirantara. The whole universe is in me, it is spread in me always. Atma Jnana Jagat Bhadi Atma Jnana Nabhasat. Even Ramana Maharshi said the same thing. If you are in the self, you will not see the universe. If you are seeing the universe, then you are not in the self. If you are in duality, you see the universe, multiplicity, then you are in lower level of, in Bhagavad Gita, they say it is Rajoguna level of knowledge. In Sattva-guna is oneness. So when you are seeing oneness, that is everything in yourself, then you are in a Sattva-guna state of knowledge, superior in state of knowledge. Rajvajnanad ahirbhati tajnanad bhasate. So where did the snake go? The snake never existed, only rope existed. So the superimposition of the snake on the rope is the same as superimposition of the universe on the self. Actually, it is not there. It appears to be there due to Maya or Moha, thought, mind, etc. If you stop all that, it doesn't exist, only I exist. Prakasho he nijam rupam. What is my nature? My nature is light. Prakasho me nijam rupam. Natiriktosmi ham saha. Yada prakashate vishwam. Tada ham bhase. I am not different from light. And as long as I exist, the universe exists. As long as the universe exists, I exist. Because from me, the universe has emanated. Aho vikalpitam vishwam. Ajnanan mayu bhasate. This universe is projected out of me due to ignorance. Rupyam shukto panirajjo is vari surya kareyatha. Just as water in the mirage and the snake in the rope and the silver in the mother of pearl. Matto vinirgatam vishwam mayye valayame shyati. Mridikumbho jale vichi kanake katakam. Yatha. So when you have a lot of ornaments, if you melt those ornaments, the ornaments have died, but the gold is the same. Gold doesn't die. In the same way, when you break the pots, the mud is remaining the same. It doesn't. So this whole universe is born out of me, is getting dissolved in me, just like the pots in the mud or the ornaments in gold. Aho aham namo makhyam vinasho yasya nasti. I do namaskaram to me, myself, who has no end. Brahmadistamba pariyamtam jagannasho pratishthatha. Even if the whole universe goes, I remain as it is, because the so-called universe is only my projection. Aho aham navamakhyam eko ham dehavanapi kachinna ganta naganta vyapya vishwam avasthita. I am spread everything, I am everything. It is the Vishwarupa of the self. Aho aham namo mukhyam daksho nasti hamatsama asamprashya sirirena yena vishwam chit. Wonderful am I, adoration to myself. There is none so capable. Who am I bearing the universe for all eternity without touching it with the body? Aho aham namo mukhyam yasme nasti kinchana. I don't have anything for me. Athava yasme sarvam. Yad vag manasavot. Either I don't have anything or I have everything which is visible or imaginable. Jnanam jnayam tatha jnata tritayam nasti vastavam. We have the three, the observer, the observed, and the observation process. The knower, the known, and the knowledge. Actually, they are not three. There's only one, because without the knower, none other, the other two cannot exist. So self alone is becoming the known and the knowledge. Dvaitamula maho dukkham nanyat paschit bheshjam. Drishyametan mrisha sarvam ekoham chidraso amala. What is the root cause of sorrow, misery? Dvaitamula maho dukkham. Multiplicity is the root cause of all sorrow. There is no other solution other than realizing that this whole thing is a illusion. Drishyametan mrisha sarvam. The observation, the observed universe is an illusion. Ekoham chidraso amalaha. I alone exist, pure consciousness. And I am one consciousness, bliss, pure. Bodhamatroham ajnanan upadhi kalpito maya. I am pure consciousness, pure realization. But due to ignorance, this body is fakely identified with me. Evam vimrishato nityam nirvikalpe sthite. Having discerned like this, I am always in deep peace and realization stage. Name bandhosti mokshova. Now, who will have moksha? He who has bandha will have moksha. When I have no bandha, I cannot have moksha. Ya bhranti shanta nirashreha. So this delusion of bandha and moksha is calmed down and it has no basis. Aho mai sthitam vishwam vastuto namai sthitam. The whole universe is within me. In reality, it doesn't even exist. Sashariramidam vishwam na kinchidapi nishchitam. Shuddha chinmatra atma cha tat kasmin kalpanatuna. I have known for certain that the body and the universe are nothing and that the self is pure consciousness alone. So on, what is it now possible to base imagination. Shariram swarganarakau bandhamoksho bhayam tatha kalpana matramevetat. This body is a figment of imagination. The heaven and hell are figments of imagination. Bandhamokshas are both figments of imagination. So also fear. Kalpana matramevetat kim me karyam chidatmanaha. What I have to do with such imaginations, which I am pure consciousness. Aho jana samuhe pinadvaitam pashyatoma. Even in a big crowd, I don't see multiplicity or duality. Aranyameva samritam paratim karavanyaham. So I see only oneness. The multitude of human beings, therefore, has become like a wilderness. To what should I attach myself? Naham deho name deho. I am not the body, nor I have a body. Jivo naham aham hichit. I am not jiva. I am not an individual soul. I am pure consciousness. Ayameva hi me bandha asidya jivitesma. This itself is my bondage, to not to realize this and to identify falsely with my body and with all its attributes and encumbrances and the so-called universe created out of me. Aho bhuvana kallolayir chitraidrak samuchitam. May anantam ham bodho chittavade samuchite. May anantam ham bodho chittavade prashamyati. Abhagya jivavanijo jagat bodho vinishvara. There is an ocean called myself, in which there is a tufan, and the whole so-called universe got created. And after that, everything became calm. There is no universe. And there is a boat called Jiva, individual conscious, who also gone. Mayarantamaham bodha ascharyam jiva vichaya. In an ocean, infinite ocean called myself, there are surprisingly some waves called different jivas. Udyanti, Granti, Kelanti, Pravishanti, Swabhavataha. They rise, they remain for some time, and they disappear after that. It doesn't matter to me, because the ocean doesn't care what kind of waves came and how long they lived and when they died. So I am the ocean. I am the infinite eternal consciousness. I stop here. I finish 2 chapters of Ashtavakra.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu sir. I think in the meantime, like I have muted all, but yeah, let me change the settings so that people can ask some questions.
Hello.
Yeah. Anyone who has any questions can unmute or type it in the chat window.
Namaskaram, sir. This is Rajeshwar. Thank you
Yes.
so much. Very useful, informative, and enlightening. One question: when the real world exists, why in Dakshinamurti Stotram, why the author is always referring to the image in the mirror? Why is not describing the actual world? What is his intention?
No,
Thank
there is
you.
no actual world. Actual world is nothing but the image. Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagare Tulyam. The Vishwam universe is equal to the image in a mirror. Here also, just now I have explained a similar reference here. Pashyan Atmani Mayaya Bahirivodbhutam Yadha Nidraya. Just like in a dream, the universe appeared to exist outside you. It never existed. It appeared to exist outside you. So also, this universe which you see appears to exist outside you. Actually, it doesn't exist.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank
Just
you.
like a dream.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Next.
So
Somebody else wanted to.
Yeah. I don't see anything in the chat window. Like just any other questions, team? One. I think else we can wind up the session.
Is it time
And
is
thank
up?
you, Prabhu sir. This was like, I think someone has aptly mentioned in the chat window also, this was like mini Gita. I think, little tough to digest, but, this is the fact, which slowly, everyone has to digest. And, once we get this clarity, probably, we do all our activities will be more to the betterment of the world. So
Yeah, actually, this is jnana yoga. So once you are established in jnana yoga, then only it is possible for you to perform karma yoga. Otherwise, no.
yes,
Because otherwise you will be believing in the validity and reality of the external world, and you will be totally lost in it, as we have been all these days, except for these few minutes. You are lost in the so-called reality of the external world, and you are getting entangled with the Maya and Moha and delusions of resulting in Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. And you know what all happens in the house, what kind of things happen in the house, and what kind of things happen in the office, what kind of things happen in the organizations, what kind of things are happening in countries, across countries. The whole thing is a big delusion. So you are living in an ocean of delusion. If you can get even for a few seconds this realization that you are the pure consciousness, which are not one of those items of your own delusion, then you will be freed, you will be liberated, you will have peace. And accordingly, you will be detached. The more you detached, you will be more karma yogi, you will be delivering, you will be performing only as per dharma and not as per the rajoguna, tamoguna based emotions like anger, greed, lust, jealousy, and so on. So karma yoga is possible only for jnanis, and it is also said sarvam karma kilam partha jnane parisamapti. Jnana is the this is jnana. Nobody else is there. Shall we close?
yeah, I think, yeah, if anyone has any questions, or shall we wind up? Yeah, I think we don't have any questions, Prabhu sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, thanks everyone. Most of you, I think you all are there in the Prabhu Speak series. We have a focused group, or else ping me separately, and no, I'll add you to the relevant groups. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.